What's up, guys? It's Rick in here today. We're talking about escaping the matrix, something I'm an expert at by using wholesaling. So, if you watch this channel, you know everything we talk about is wholesaling because everything we do is wholesaling. And that's probably why you're watching the channel. So, my name is Rick and I've been wholesaling for 22 years. And we are talking about escaping the matrix and what's the best way to do it. So, if you're new to this channel, the easiest way to do it to understand what we're going to talk about today, right here on the screen, freewholesaling.com. It is, I know it's shocking, but it's a free course we've created for you, the wholesaler, so you could actually get real information on how to get started in wholesaling. Maybe you've fallen off the wagon of wholesaling, you need to get back on it. Most people that buy a course wind up going back through me and Zach's course. Number one, it's free. Number two, is the absolute best course you can get out there. Number three, it's free. You have to bring the hustle. If you can't bring the hustle, which we're going to talk a little bit about today, it ain't going to work because I love wholesaling, but it does not care about your excuses. And we'll talk more and more about that today. So the best place to get started, if you have any questions, number one, use the comment section. It's the best place to put it in there. Put in a question. If you have it, somebody else probably has that question. Number two, I am going to put up a link. And if you want to do a one-on-one, you can just click on there, first come, first serve, and we'll do it at the end of our, I don't know, our talk today. I don't even call it a lesson because you guys kind of know how we work with that. So all that's going to be on there, freewholesaling.com. Start there. And the reason me and Zach created freewholesaling.com is because most of the questions are the same questions, which is fine, which is obviously a new question to you, but we answer everything. I believe there's over 9 hours of content. If you just watch video consumed, and then hundreds of pages of documents, PDF, scripts, contracts, assignment of contract, you name it in there, JV forms, it's all in there. If you want to learn how to do probates, go to freewholesaling.com. You want to learn how to do driving for dollars, go to freewholesaling.com. You want to learn how to do reverse driving for dollars, freewholesaling.com. You want to learn to do creative financing after you've mastered wholesaling, freewholesaling.com. It's up to you. Guys, we practice what we preach. This is what we do. I've been doing this 22 years. So do that. So guys, make sure you introduce yourself in the comments. That's the best place to do it. I put the link on there for you. And so let's get into it. Let me mark some of the questions here. My opinions on Strickland. It was just a beat down. There's no other word for it. Duplessis, the man's on another level. He trains at just such a high rate. I mean, just the better fighter, hands down. There's no rematch. It's over, baby. So, okay. So let's get back here. So we're talking about like red pill, blue pill. So obviously, unless you were born yesterday, this comes off the movie The Matrix. Life is all about choices. And what I'm talking today mostly is if you've tuned into this channel and you found me and Zach, I don't, maybe you found us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is. You're trying to make a decision. What is the best choice for me? Now, I'm biased and I fully admit it up front. I am like a wholesale junkie. I love this business. But the lessons you can take from a guy that's been doing this 22 years, it must work if Rick's still doing it 22 years later. And honestly, that is probably my best business card I can wear for you. And with all the other stuff that you have to do out there is, people were talking about doing the Amazon FBO stores, and most of you got scammed on that. It was terrible. I have never left wholesaling. It's what I've done. I got lucky. I found it. But keep in mind, it took me 12 years to find wholesaling. I wanted it. I just didn't know how to find it. I didn't have any leadership. And it doesn't matter how you got here. You're just trying to make a decision. Is wholesaling right for me to accomplish what I want? Well, that's what we're here to talk about today. So honestly, guys, you do have a choice. And we're talking about life choices. Is wholesaling the vehicle to get you where you want to go? You can hear a lot of negative stuff about wholesaling. The reason why you hear so much negative stuff, because it's so dang effective. Honestly, most people can't wrap their head around, like, let me get this straight. You can put a property under contract and you can make a 20, 30, $40,000 profit without ever owning it, pulling a dime out of your pocket. And you can do this over and over again. Yes, you can. Does it start out like that? Absolutely not. So here's the one thing I can tell you with wholesaling. I've been doing this 22 years. And I always tell you, look what people do. Listen to what they say, but do not put stock until they measure it up. And the one thing you got going for wholesaling is Rick Ginn's been doing it 22 years, but I'm not the only guy out there doing it 20 some odd years. There's plenty of people in the space that do it. They're very good at it. We all have a little bit different way of doing it, which is pretty cool. And you tend to gravitate towards the person that you identify the most with it. So if you identify with me and Zach, number one, we are highly, highly family oriented. Why? Because there's people always say family's the most important thing to me, and you turn around and all they do is work and they never see my family. So I don't have that problem. Our wholesaling business is a family business. So my wife's involved. She doesn't do the day-to-day operations, but she helps a lot. Obviously, you guys know Zach. He did everything in my business since he was 16. He's now 25. And so 9 years have gone by. And so a lot of other influencers stuff, they preach about, hey, family's the most important thing to do. I put my money where my mouth is. So if wholesaling takes care of my family, takes care of us financially, takes care of the time we spend together, and the fact that I do enjoy working with my son, it has come full circle for me. So I figure out who you are. If you've chosen wholesaling, that's awesome. But now you have to decide who you're going to follow. And listen, it's not an ultimatum, but you can't follow like 15 people. You can get 15 different spices, but sooner or later you're going to gravitate towards someone's style. I mostly focus on a beginner wholesaler getting started or someone trying to get over that hump to get to their first 100 grand. Why? Because that is the thickest part of the market. I wasn't born yesterday. And I can have the biggest impact there. If I just take my skills and specialize on people looking to do 20 and 30, 40 deals a month, there's challenges in wholesaling when it comes to that. Most of them will not tell you that. You can go out and get a corporate job and do that exact same thing. I did it. I just didn't find it very rewarding. A staff of 15 working on deals like 6 days a week in the office, that is not my vision. But if people want to do that, it's great. So here's what I preach. Okay. Number one, if you've chosen wholesaling to escape the matrix, why? It's the lowest risk with the highest reward. And if you don't have any money and you truly want to hustle and you want to not live an average life, wholesaling hands down crushes any other one. So we talked about the Amazon stores, complete crock. You can't compete with Amazon. Drop shipping, in my opinion, just doesn't work. It's too delayed. Looked at it a long time ago. It just didn't work. And the proof's out there. The next one you got out is like exchanging currencies. It starts with an F. That's all I'm going to say with that. And it's basically an MLM. And what's an MLM? It's basically you have to recruit people. You get paid a fee, and then you just recruiting and you have a downline. And basically it's multi-level marketing at its finest. If you think you can predict when a currency is going to go up or down, you're kidding yourself. Are there trends? Yes. But for the most part, it is a free market. And you're only going to hear about those wins. You'll never hear about the losses. And that's the reason I do not like those. Day trading as well. There's a reason there is not full-time. There are some full-time people doing it, but you're not going to get rich doing that. The market is going to penalize you for hopping in and out. So I only judge people by how much time they spend in the market. If you think you're going to time the market, you're going to get lucky a few times, but for the most part, you're going to get killed. I'm living proof of it. I've tried to time the market. You got to just ride it out. So you have a choice. And I've already told you, wholesaling is a proven strategy. I can tell you whatever you want to hear, but the reality is I've been in wholesaling for 22 years and a majority of my income comes from wholesaling, period. Do I own a software company? Yes. Do I own lots of other companies? Yes. My favorite company, hands down, is always wholesaling. I love working on deals. I love working with people, and it's just a really good fit for me. So remember, today we're just trying to make sure what is a good fit for you. in wholesaling. So the question is, are you going to work in wholesaling? Are you going to go to work? And here's the problem right here. Everything's fun right up to this point. Like, yeah, I'm going to do it. It's awesome. I saw what Rick does. So what Zach does. Dude, the guy's been doing it 22 years and must do something right. Have I had hard times in there? Yeah, the first year or two was brutal. Have I had a few lean years in between? Yeah, just because I was inexperienced. So here's the one thing I know. Wholesaling has worked in every type of market, from the absolute best ones to the worst ones. Why? Because if you understand you're doing wholesaling, it works really, really well. Now, we have to understand this. You have two choices. I'm going to go back to here. You got two choices in wholesaling. You're just going to have to pick one. I'm going to tell you right now, you have two choices. I've been in this business 22 years, and this is fact, not fiction. It's absolute fact, and I'm going to show you why. So, number one, did you join wholesaling? Are you looking to be rich? Or you just want to look rich? Like looking rich. Why? Because it's a choice. Now, what do I mean by looking rich? Anybody can appear rich. We are living in the American dream society where everybody wants to one up their neighbors. Why? People drive nice Mercedes, BMW. And by the way, I got no problem with people driving a nice car. But the problem is, if somebody makes 80 grand a year and they spend 75 grand on a car, you do not understand how money works. Now, I used to be this person, so I'm not a hypocrite, but I'm just telling you, if you're making 80 grand a year, you should be driving a beat up Honda Civic. Why? Because you have to get your money to work for you. If you work for your money, which is how most people operate, and that's how I operated for 12 years, full disclosure, enterprise leasing. I didn't understand. Nobody taught me. And I thought that was the only way. Now, I'm not an idiot. I'm going to tell you the honest truth. Back when I did that back in 2003, 4, 2003 is when I left my job. It was in a time and age where you could still buy real estate. You could still do things, and buying stuff in the United States, you still had a ton of value. Now you fast forward to 2025, guys, buying real estate doesn't even make, like, the value numbers compared to when I bought them, it doesn't even make sense, other than like, crap, I need to get started now because Rick was looking at houses 120 grand and now they're worth 500. If I just took that and owned 2 or 3 houses, I'd be a millionaire. And you know what? You're right. Just on that speech alone. So we all know real estate works. Why? As the dollar gets devalued, it takes more to buy goods, period. End of story. So what's real estate is a combination of steel, wood, glass, all sorts of products, hardware, even now software, concrete. And as these get inflationary pressures on the US dollar, a lot of people go, well, the real estate goes up. It really doesn't go up if you think about it. It's just inflation gets so rapid and out of control. Sometimes they go up in certain areas, but for the most part, let's be honest. So why not utilize this strategy? So you can flip Pokemon cards at garage sales, or you can just go find the biggest asset, which is real estate, and wholesale that. And so when we talk about looking rich, here's the people that want to look rich. Most people on the internet that want to look rich, to get your attention for wholesaling in specific, is they're going to do what we call the flash. And the flash is something that works very, very predominantly on young people. It goes, look at me, look. And so if someone's looking to attract you by looking rich, remember, looking rich is like driving a Mercedes but having an $1,800 payment month. Looking rich is like I got a badass bachelor pad, but I pay 12 grand a month and I don't own a dime of it. So if I want to look rich, here's how I'm going to fool you. Here's how everybody fools you in wholesaling. I'm going to show you my flashy car. Cars will never make you a dime. They're a depreciating asset. They suck. Do I like a nice car? I do. But you flashing your Lamborghini, I get it. It's eye candy, and eye candy gets your attention. It feeds your ego. And then I promise you, the person who has a Lamborghini is there to sell you something, because even they know how to utilize the Lamborghini to facilitate sales on their courses. That's why you see it. That's why you'll never, can I afford a Lambo? Yeah. But do I want one? No, it's the stupidest purchase in the world. Don't get me wrong. I think they're super sexy cars, but like I would be bored after a day or two of them. They're very expensive to store. You got to maintain them. And um, hell, you can only fit two people in there. I can't put my dog in there. So there's reasons alone. The next one, jets. I love everyone's picture with the jet. Now I'm telling you, I don't own a jet. I can't afford a jet. A jet is way over my head. On average, a jet, even if you buy a slightly used one, you're looking at 6 to 12 million. And then the fees to house it, store it, maintain it, have a crew are phenomenal. Now, I don't travel enough to do it. Would I love to own a jet? Absolutely. And I have long-term goals. But I will never show you a jet saying, look how cool I am paying $25,000 for this trip. It makes no sense when I can just buy it first class. Do I see the value of like private air transport? Yeah, I do. But I don't try to pretend like I own a jet. It's a joke. A really like incredible jet is $40-50 million. And you got to understand, it's millions between jet fuel and everything else. Listen, I do well, but I'm not at the jet statue. I'm never going to try to trick you with it. I know that like shocks people, but and the next one is like the real estate play. I can flash you real estate all day. The only thing that matters is what's on my spreadsheet. So when people just constantly shoot the same footage over and over, they're basically telling you, I'm using my leased property to attract you, and I have to sell you a course. End of story. Guys, everything I'm describing to you right now is what you do to look rich. These people are never rich. And I've learned the wealthiest people I've ever dealt with, you would never know unless they told you. And so they're humble, they lose their ego, and they get it done. And so if you know that, it's like, I'm giving you the warning signs up front. Flashing big stacks of cash, I don't even understand that in real estate. Millions and millions of dollars we exchange hands every month. Why would me showing you a $5,000 or $10,000 stack of cash makes like, why? For what? What am I going to do with that? I can't do anything with it. Once again, this is what the look rich society does. So here's what I want you to do. You have a choice. You have two powerful things in your life, your time and your money. Use them accordingly in wholesaling. If you're looking to escape the matrix with wholesaling, which I know it can, I've proven it undoubtedly between myself, 22 years, and my son. The question is, are you going to fall for this fake stuff? And that's the problem. Honestly, have I thought about showing you guys a flashy car and all this stuff? It's not who I am. And I would be embarrassed with the mentors I work with because they don't do that. So remember, if somebody's flashing you stuff, I want you to do me a favor. Go, Rick told me they want to look rich. The question is, do you think they're rich? Because just because you see stuff, you have no idea how they utilize it. I look out my office every day. I see 3, 5, $10 million boats. The question is like, how did you pay for it? I don't know. We don't know anyone's story, and stop making an assumption someone's rich because you see an asset behind them. You guys ever see that show Repo? They're taking this stuff back all the time. So you got to learn how to do it. When you see any of this stuff on the screen, I just want to let you know, they're looking rich. It's usually a trick in our game. I'm just telling you, when you come into wholesaling and you want to escape the matrix, you have to make a key fundamental shift. And you know what that key fundamental shift is? Instead of looking rich, you got to learn how to become rich, becoming rich. You guys, I can't look, watch, look rich. Who's look rich? Flashy cars, flashy real estate. There's a certain person that I might mention, not even in our space. All they do is flash the same mansion every day, which just means I know you leased it. And I know you got to show this at every minute to get the value out because you're probably paying 20, 30, 40 grand a month. It makes no sense to me. Now, how people do it, that's fine. But if you constantly see the same shots over and over, take the hint. Ask people, hey, do you own that property? Is your name on the deed? That's impressive when you own a $30 million property to a point. But most people will lease it out and show you like look at the lifestyle I live. And I promise you, you're going to get a high ticket sales item right behind it. 100% of the time, not just 100% of the time. I want you to test this theory out. I test it every day It's so funny. Um, uh, I'm looking here. I'm just reading. The boat is not an asset. I know that one. I just want you guys to understand and be aware of it because I see it. Um, See, but the problem is, guys, you can finance anything you want. I could go finance the most incredible boat, but like me, boats, if you don't pay cash for them, you can't afford them. Like my favorite boats are around $1.6 million, and I love boats, and I have a smaller boat, but like I'm not going to leverage my company and everything I own just to like look good for someone. So stop trying to. Here's what I do. If you're looking rich, it means you're focusing on everybody around you and how people look at you. That's your ego. That's your ego. Your ego will never get you rich. It'll actually make you 100% broke. I guarantee it. So it's a night and day difference between becoming rich and looking rich. And I'm telling you, if you want to do the looking rich, dude, just tune me out. Tune me out because looking rich is a job in itself. It's beyond exhausting. And at the end of the day, when you sit down with your accountant, your lawyer, and your family, they all know you're broke. So if you want to become rich, you're going to have to make a sacrifice. And nobody gets rich overnight, especially in wholesaling. And I think a lot of times when we start talking about these influencers that are just constantly flashing cars and fancy real estate they own and jets like they're temporary flying on, like, how does that impress you? Like, why wouldn't you use those skill sets towards actually acquiring things that would actually make you becoming rich? So night and day difference, and you have to understand that. So let me double check questions. I'm just about done here. Um, the boat's not an asset. Listen, you can finance anything you want, but at the end of the day, you got to put it on a balance sheet. And I don't know about you guys, balance sheets tell the whole truth about anyone. And if you ever want to know if someone's for real in wholesaling, I'm going to give you a little tip and a little trick. Okay. I've learned those in sales, and like they want to do business with me. I say, listen, can I see your balance sheet? They're like, what's a balance sheet? I already know you lied to me. Remember, a balance sheet is someone who wants to become rich. Someone who wants to look rich, I've never even heard of a balance sheet. They don't even know what it is. A balance sheet is like a truth serum to tell you what someone's business is doing. And the IRS can tell a lot about your business through a balance sheet. So if you guys would just have fun with someone, they go, I do $3 million in sales a year, a month, whatever. Go, awesome. Hey, since we're going to do business, can I just get your last balance sheet you submitted to the IRS? Now, if you're going to be business partners with the JV, you have the right to ask for it. They don't have to give it to you. But I just find it so funny. Like people tell me about these big bad businesses and they're like, what's a balance sheet? I mean, it's just a balance sheet's everything. A profit and loss, you can hide anything. A balance sheet, you can't hide a dang thing. And so I'm just telling you, decide if you want to build a badass balance sheet or do you just want to look rich? Because if you want to look rich, you're going to have so much debt. You're going to have so many liabilities. Your balance sheet's going to be the most embarrassing statement you have. Now, if I see someone who's got 3 cars, when I lined up and I pull up their house, I see this big, beautiful house, and maybe I'm going to be business partners with them. The first thing I would do to check them, give me your balance sheet. Oh, you lease a house for 30 grand a month. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Oh, the cars, you owe money on them. Oh, you lease them? You lease the cars and you owe this one and you own a note for 100,000. Yeah, great. Awesome. So remember, all that liability is not going to make their business productive. It's going to make them, it's just going to bury them. And I want you to understand that. You have to understand how it works. And we have to do that. Okay. So guys, I put a link on the bottom. Where did I put it? If you guys want to do a one-on-one, I put it on there. Let me see here. I don't know if it's stuck. I'm going to do it one more time because I'll forget about this. And obviously it didn't stick. Okay. Now I got it up there. So let's get back to this. So we're talking about the matrix and getting the wholesaling. And I'm just telling you, you have a choice. You want to look rich or do you want to become rich? 2 different classes. Now, I'm going to tell you, predominantly on the internet, everyone wants to teach you how to look rich. And to be honest with you, it's not hard to pull it off temporarily, but in the end, you're going to look like a poor, broke fool. And it happens all the time. Ask me how I know, because every time I go to talk to other people, I'm like, you don't have $100 for a deposit. You don't have it for this. We got to do that. So if you see this stuff popping up, look very carefully and see if they have a high ticket course. That's usually why they buy these tools. And maybe they're using it to leverage against you. These tools will never allow you to become rich other than some sort of wholesale guru course sale. Just the truth. Now, here's what you have to understand about wholesaling. Marketing, it's absolutely mandatory in wholesaling. Anybody tells you don't have to market in wholesale, I would never, ever listen to their advice. Why? Because anybody that's been even slightly successful in wholesaling has started out being a very good marketer. In fact, marketing is the reason why you find most people that influence wholesaling, why they're so good, because they mastered marketing. So take the best people in the business. You don't take my word for it. Just go ahead and ask, hey, how did you get started in real estate? Once they say wholesaling, go, damn, Rick was right. That guy's sharp. That chick's incredible. Why? Because they had to learn how to find motivated sellers, and they had to learn what marketing vehicles to get there. They need to learn how to put their ads together and do everything. They actually had to use their brain. And once they figured it out, they got a lot of practice. They got a lot of reps in, and they busted their butt. It might take them 3 months. I've seen people take a year or two, they get a deal and they figure it out. And once they find gold once, they keep narrowing in their skills and they get better at marketing. And then once you get up to 5 deals, then you can find ways to actually scale your business. Now, I'm here to tell you, you're going to have to fight like hell to get your first 5 deals. It is part of the matrix of wholesaling. And if you can't fight and do it, you're not cut out for this business. I'm the first one to tell you, I do not hide this from anybody. In fact, if you're going to quit after like not even getting your first deal, were you ever really going to work in wholesaling? So, which leads me to my next thing. So marketing, guys, I'm just telling you, I've never met anyone worth a lick of salt in wholesaling that did not master marketing. And you're in a day and age where people go, oh, I'll do the marketing for you. You don't need to understand it. That means you just took on a business partner. Do you hear me? When you work with a PPL or like a PPC and you don't have experience, PPL is just a PPC hired person. They're going to be your business partner because it's the highest skill set you can have of all of wholesaling. So who gets paid? The person with the highest skill set or the lowest skill set? We already know the answer to this. But Rick, why do I need to know marketing? Why should I put 1,000 hours into it? Because you don't have a choice. But Rick, I can just hire this company to do everything for me. I go, well, how do you know what type of lead to look for? How do you know what type of seller it is? How do you know how much to pay them? You don't have any data to back it up. So you're just going to go out and hire them and pay for it. Let me see how that works. Oh, and by the way, you don't have the experience. You don't have the reps. You don't have the confidence to talk to sellers. That's nuts. Hold on. I got to stop touching this thing because I just keep on doing it. Okay. Sorry about that. Do you see what I'm getting at? See, the matrix, to escape the matrix, you're going and you accept wholesaling. If you skip marketing, it's your fastest exit out of this business. I will stand on the top of a hill and scream this. And keep in mind, marketing is the single skill set that will pay you more than any other skill set you can learn in life, in my opinion. Why? Because the more people you can connect with whatever service or skill you offer to the world, the more business you're going to do. This is why I do deals all over the country. And guys, for the longest time, I did deals in my local market because it's all I knew. And I got started in my first 7 years. Then I branched out and did this thing called virtual wholesaling. Then I added cold calling. I added texting. And then I brought in younger people smarter than me, like my son, that really helped me blow up my business. I've always been a hard worker. I love this business, but I'm here to tell you today, without marketing, you will never survive in wholesaling. You don't know what to pay. And if you do, you're going to have an instant partner. Did you want a partner? If your partner is a PPL, PPC expert, and they're going to drive that with you, knock yourself out. I think that's awesome. I think that's incredible. But if you think you're just going to skip marketing because it's too much time and effort, people are going to get paid more than you do in the long run. Why? Because then you got to get lower level deals and you can't form a relationship. And if you can't form a relationship, you can't get a great deal in wholesaling. So my next one, which you all have to understand this, I can't stress this one enough to you. One of the biggest problems you guys all have with wholesaling is you forgot what it was. Now, it's not your fault, but a lot of people are out there marketing wholesaling like, hey, what if I showed you how to partner up with the homeowner? That's not wholesaling. Why would I partner up with a distressed homeowner? That's delusional. That doesn't even make sense. Oh, but you can have sign of power of attorney. You can do this. Listen, there's a lot of ways that you can do this business, but you want to make sure, please make sure when we talk about wholesaling, make sure you're actually wholesaling. In fact, a lot of you guys are hidden fix and flippers. You're just looking for a great deal. Hands down, the reasons why you come to wholesaling, because you know wholesalers get the absolute best deals in real estate. Hands down, we all know it. In fact, any real estate agent that comes to me or anyone that did fix and flip before they did wholesaling, they go, Rick, I want to learn exactly what you did. I already know there's a 95 to 99% failure ratio. Why? Because they've already admitted to me in one form or another that they don't want to do the marketing piece. So let me ask you, how are you really going to attract business to people to your business if you don't want to do marketing? If you don't want to do marketing, you're just very limited in what you can do. So I can me and Zach are exposed to hundreds of thousands of people all over the United States. I think we have 733,000 followers total on our platforms. I don't think that's not even Instagram. Why? Because we constantly market. Why? Because I like doing deals all over the country. I do JV deals. We did 35 grand today. After this call, I will spend time with all the people that I JV'd with them. They get X leads for free. They come to the masterminds. They get to work with us, and it's a huge win-win for everybody. And they get really motivated and they work hard. And that's awesome. And that's what I want for you guys. But make sure you're wholesaling. Why? Because a lot of you go, this isn't working. I go, show me your deal. And I go, that's a fix and flip. That has the wholesaling found the deal, but somehow you wound up in a fix and flip mode. What happened? And they're like, well, my trainer, whoever told me I could take the deal down myself. Well, do they have skills in fix and flip? Remember, fix and flip is an entirely different business. Wholesalers sell to fix and flip. Why? Number one, we like to sell the vision to them. And number two, I don't run an entire crew to fix up houses. In fact, my skill set is in finding and locating a deal and marketing. That's it. That's where I make the most money. I get in, I get out, I make my 20, 30 grand, and then I go find another deal. The fix and flipper, they go, I'm going to make so much money. I'm going to make $50,000. So they find a deal through wholesaling, which was awesome. And then guess what? They quit wholesaling. They don't quit. They just stop. I'm going to work on this so I can make the most money. And maybe you make another $10,000. Maybe you make 60 grand. But here's what they didn't tell you. You gave up 8 months of your life. So let me ask you, in 8 months, if you just did one wholesaling deal every month and say you average 20 grand, 20 times 8 is $160,000. But so many of you guys get stuck in the fix and flip because you watch too many like A&E shows, and like they're all they for the most part, they're all directed with a script. I don't even like hold the people accountable for it. You see people, they always come in and out. I started this. Listen, when they create a wholesaling show, I'll be there. Me and Zach be the first ones on it. I've sat down, I think 2 or 3 times in my 22-year career, and the stuff they tell me how they want to run these shows. Yeah, I mean, they set everyone who does it up for 100% for failure. Lie, go to our script, create drama. It's all in the design. Dude, I'm the worst designer you'll ever meet. I hire designers because I'm a guy. Like I have no way to coordinate stuff. So if we understand that, so make sure you're wholesaling. Why? Find the deal. The money's in the deal. It is not in the fix and flip. I know it's tempting to do that. Every now and then we can teach you a technique once you have experience called wholetailing, which basically you take the property, you do some temporary funding, pressure cleaner, dumpster, and you get it sold in 90 days. That's as far as you ever go on wholesaling, period. In the beginning, you're going to do nothing but assignment of contracts. So do you want to be the guy who goes, I'm going to make 60 grand and give up 3/4 of my year? Or are you going to be the guy or gal who goes, man, I could do, like, if I could do just 20 grand a month over the next 8 months. That's 160 grand. Do not fall for the fix and flip. And by the way, fix and flip, the market controls what you're going to sell it for. The Fed's interest rate is going to control the temperature of your buyer, and you are going to be held to comps to what your neighbors sell the house for. And then you have this little thing when you get behind walls that, especially in old houses, you get all sorts of surprises. And I don't know about you, I do not like surprises to my business. So when you wholesale, you mitigate your risk. That's why most of you are here. You mitigate your risk, and you don't have to go through a 6, 9, or 12-month rehab. You can get paid in and out in as little as just a couple weeks. I've done it as little as 4 days. You're not going to start out doing 4 days. I'm not going to tease you with that. But which one sounds more attractive to you? Now, if you truly have a passion for fix and flip, go learn the business. Go learn with someone who does fix and flips, and then go find wholesalers you can work with. But so many wholesalers, fix and flippers, try to come into wholesale. They never have the attention span. It's almost 100% failure ratio because they do not specialize in the marketing skill. Now, what's the marketing skill we all specialize in? It's right here, baby. ODN. I will scream this from the rooftops. ODN. It's just an acronym, and this is all it stands for. Ready? Off market, direct to seller, for someone who needs to sell. If you hit the trifecta on all three of those, you'll hit it out of the park. Now, what's the complete opposite of an ODM? Well, if I don't do off market, I do on market, which means I go to MLS, which means you now do not have the ability to connect with the current homeowner. You have to use an agent in between, a real estate agent or a realtor or like a lawyer. And trust me, their only interest is in selling it for the highest and best price possible, even bad deals. Now, if I pick that type of property, I know I can't talk to the seller. So what's the point? Why? Because you can never get a good deal unless you get the story behind the property. Hey, this house is vacant and it's ready to buy, as the realtor tells me. My job is to find out why it's vacant and get some sort of emotional involvement in it. That's how great wholesale deals goes. Remember, we are not salespeople. A lot of people tell you it's about sales training and wholesaling. That's the biggest crock. Like there's no sale. There's a process. I do not deny that. But the process is about learning and becoming educated and talking to sellers to get all the information out, elicit responses, and turn them into conversations. And when you have conversations, you gain trust. And then you go in and you solve the seller's problem. If you solve their problem, most of the time they'll go with you. If you don't solve the problem, they're not going to go with you. If their problem is they just need the highest price, you're not wholesaling. You're wasting your time talking to someone. That's why I'm teaching about ODM. And the other one is we need to find people that need to sell their house. Because the bottom line is everybody wants to sell their house. Everybody, anyone who puts their house on the market wants to sell. Very few need to sell. Now, part of this is the people want to look like they're rich or the ones that want to become rich. And you have to sort that. Unfortunately, it takes the realtors to sort that crap out. And that's what I understand with that. So when it comes to wholesaling, when we talk about escaping the matrix, a lot of you watch me and Zach because you don't have a lot of money and it resonates with you. And I'm fine with that. And I'm here to tell you, wholesaling is the golden opportunity for you. It's never going away. As much as people want to come on and say, wholesaling's been banned, it's this. Yet to this date, I've yet to find anyone that's ever been arrested or detained or been hit with a major felony for wholesaling. Why? Because it doesn't exist. Are there rules against certain things of it? Yes, they are to discourage you, but keep in mind, most of these legislations go against federal law, which is built in the United States Constitution, which allows American citizens to enter into contracts legally and lawfully without interference from the states. What do states want to do? They want to interfere. So I'm here to tell you, no one's ever been held accountable. I don't want anybody to get arrested for it. And I tell you what, if we can just get one case law and beat it, we can all hand it on. You know, when they go, Smith versus Wade. Like we could just hand case law. So I think there's a reason why they don't want to try these cases because they know it's never going to stand in like a federal courtroom. Now, maybe in a state courtroom, I don't know. But so at some point, if we had a fund to protect people, and you know, a lot of you guys misunderstand when people, so-and-so got arrested for doing short sales. No. That person got arrested for committing forgery and falsifying documents. And if you do that, there's already laws on the book to do that. If you create forgery or you do massive fraud, it's illegal. It's not a real estate thing. It's just illegal, period. You can't do it. So if we understand that, guys, just go all in. If you want to do it, stop dipping your toes in the water. I can't, I'm going to try. When you say the words, I'm going to try, I already know what your outcome is. You don't even have to tell me. I know exactly what's going to happen. Try. There's a lot of stuff I try. The question is, what will you finish? And if you can't finish it, what's the point of it? Does everybody understand that? Like, I cannot emphasize this enough to you. So when we say go all in, what do I mean by that? Simple. 2 years, 24 months. That's the sacrifice you need. Nobody wants to tell you the truth, but it's the truth of wholesaling. Now, can some people do it faster than 2 years? Absolutely. But on average, give up 2 years, lose yourself, immerse yourself, drop your ego. The things you can accomplish in wholesaling will blow you away. And I'm here to tell you, there's no reason you can't do it. If you're sitting on the fence, you're like, man, I need to figure this out. Is if you'll decide to make that sacrifice, because here's how most people try wholesaling. You ready? I'm going to give it a shot. If I don't get a contract in the first 30 days, I'm going to quit. Quit. Don't do it. It's easier. Like, honestly, if you understand that, set aside the 2 years and go all in. And I get it. A lot of you got to pay bills. I did too. I had to keep my current job while I learned wholesaling. I was in such a deep hole. But I'm telling you, guys have a choice. Make it wisely. Your choices right now in 2025 are going to dictate the entire outcome of your family. In fact, Tony, if you've ever been to a Tony Robbins seminar, Unleash the Power Within, he puts you what they call the Dickens method. And basically says, I want you to walk through the choices you make right now. And I want to go into the future. And we're going to see if you continue on this route, where you're going to wind up. And you got people crying in the crowd. You got people screaming. Think about your future now, where you're going. The decisions you make, especially off this video, you're trying to make a decision if wholesaling is right for you. The question is, are you going to do the work for wholesaling? Most people can't make a 2-year sacrifice. And it's nothing. You have to be one heck of a stoic to do it. Do you know about stoicism? Look it up, because they are skill sets that fit every wholesaler. The ones that actually succeed. It's all about giving it up now to get something in the future. Anything that's worthwhile in life is going to require effort from you. Anything that's just given to you is a gift from God, and that's how you have to take it. So if we know that, I'm almost done here. So if you guys want to hop on the one-on-one, I got room for you. So you got to lose your ego. The ego is why most of you get fooled in wholesaling. Why? Oh, he had a Lambo. He must be for real. Dude, a Lambo doesn't mean anything. It usually means I sell a lot of courses. That's what I know what a Lambo means. I'm not discrediting. I think a Lambo is an incredible car. But listen, unless you got at least 10 mil sitting in the bank, I don't know why you would even ever buy a Lambo. And I find most people, other than the ultra rich that just have toys, if you own a Lambo and you're worth less than $10 million, it really shows what an idiot you are, because it's a depreciating asset. If I buy a Lambo for $350,000 and I got to sell it 2 years later for $210,000, how is that a good investment? And don't forget, you have to keep it in a air-conditioned storage unit. You got to have like massive amounts of insurance on it. And the maintenance schedule on these things are like ridiculous. You can't just leave them parking. So guys, understand what the flash is on this. So my God, what is wrong with my camera today? Okay. I'm going to have to move it over next time. Okay. Hold on. I'm here. Okay. I keep hitting the button by accident. You can tell it's live. So let's talk about this. Do you want to be average? If you want to be average, just keep doing what you're doing. I'm sorry. It's the truth. And by the way, I was like the average Joe until I was 33. And I said, dude, I can't handle this crap anymore. How do I get out of this matrix? But what I want to tell you is I don't want you to build up 12 years of frustration to decide then pull the plug on it. Do you understand that? 12 years I worked for a corporation. I hated every minute of it, maybe other than the first 6 months I worked there. And I'm telling you, this is what led to my journey of wholesaling. So if you're watching this and you're 17 and 18, don't do what Rick did. Do not go take that corporate job because your parents told you to play safe. I'm going to tell you to do the complete opposite because at the end of the day, you're not going to live with your parents forever. You'll be responsible for the outcome. And remember, your parents' job is to keep you safe, but it's your definition of what safe is. It's not what your parents is. Take Alex Hormozy. His father beat the crap, like not physically beat him, but just beat on him how he had to take this safe job. And you know what Alex did? He did the brave decision and he moved all the way across from the East Coast to the West Coast to get away from his father so he could find out what he truly wanted to do. Now, is that the wisest move? I don't know. It's bold. I give credit. But if a lot of us made that when we were young, we could have made decisions without trying to constantly please our parents. And don't get me wrong, you need to love your parents, but let's face it, most of our parents do not have the financial aptitude to show us what to do. Do you know the average person retires with maybe, I think it's under $2 million. dollars? And I'm here to tell you that, I don't know why it keeps doing that. Hmm. I don't know about you, but $2 million dollars is not a lot of money to retire on anymore, especially in today's world. And we have to understand that. So unless you want to be average, but keep in mind your parents bought real estate much cheaper than you. They have a nest egg built up. They probably have their house just about paid for and they have money in retirement. Most of us don't. So if you think 2 million is going to take care of it, you like honestly, most of you are going to have to approach around 10 million to live on what your parents are going to retire on today. So most parents are like a million and a half, 2 million. But remember, they already have a house, they have stuff paid for. So if you don't want to be like that, you're going to have to make some extreme choices. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck. 10 million is going to seem like the new 1 million. Honestly, $1 million to me is not a lot of money. If I only had $1 million, I don't know what I would do. It's not a lot of money, guys. I'm just telling you. I know it seems like a lot when it's sitting in a bank account, but like the average cost of real estate in the state of Florida is around $560,000. Okay, I got enough money to buy one house and have a couple years of retirement. That's what $1 million is going to get. That's why I'm telling you, guys got to start looking much bigger numbers. You are not going to get this in a 9 to 5 job, not even close. The most people make on average is below 150,000 a year, which honestly is not a lot of money anymore, and it's becoming real problematic. So, wholesaling puts you in control. That's the difference. I worked for an employer that paid me decently, but I didn't know how broke I was until I started doing wholesaling. And after doing deals of just about 8 months, I replaced my entire salary with very little experience. And if you understand that going into it, it's to me, it completely makes sense. And so if you know that you cannot trade your time for money and actually survive today, you've got to understand this going into it. Wholesaling changes it. It puts you in control. You don't rely on anyone. You don't rely on the government, your sister, Sally, anybody, and you have to understand that. Now, here's a really cool fact about wholesaling. It just does not care about your past at all. In fact, nobody gives a crap about where you came from or what you did. That is the beautiful thing about wholesaling. Criminals. We had a guy we taught wholesaling was flipping houses from his jail cell. Now, I don't do this to impress you. It's to impress upon you that if someone's willing to take the opportunity from wholesaling from a jail cell that's put out incarcerated for years down, what's your excuse? Like, think about this. That much motivation, you know how hard it is to do behind a jail. I don't even know how they do it. They have computers, they have phones. We really need to reevaluate our penal system, but it just drives me nuts. So I want you to understand this. Wholesaling only rewards hard workers that show up. So as much as it doesn't discriminate you for all the stuff society does in the past, it it's only going to reward the people that put in the most work. Wholesaling doesn't go, how many people did you try to call today? No. How many contracts did you write today? How many people did you talk to? And it will keep paying attention to you if you keep paying attention to that. If you don't do that, you will just go by the way. The people that try wholesaling, stuff like that, absolute nightmare. You don't want anything to do with it. My next favorite one, wholesaling disregards your excuses. The more excuses you have, the more you're just wasting your time. You guys understand? Let me repeat that. The more excuses you have, the more you're wasting your time. Excuses you can't take to the bank, you can't cash them. And sooner or later, you're going to realize your friends, your family, and your coworkers, they don't give a crap about your excuses. In fact, the more excuses you have, the more you're going to repel people from you. People hate excuses. End of story. And if you have nothing but excuses at the end of the day, you can't solve any problems. There's an old saying, you can either have a million excuses or you can make $1 million, but you can't do both. And once you identify you're a complainer or you make excuses, most of the time you learned it from your family and your friends. Number one, recognize it. Just go, crap, I'm making an excuse, and replace it with solutions, problem solving. Keep your excuses internal unless you're working with a team that has to have it to problem solve. And you'll find excuses will quickly turn into solutions. Why? Because excuses get nothing done. They waste time. And you basically put a label on it. Like, I'm making an excuse. So, and it's important you understand the excuse comes from the ego to make the ego right. Ego has demands. It needs your attention. It needs to be heard, and it needs to be right at any cost. Those three things are why you have to lose your ego. Your ego will destroy you in wholesaling and actually most parts of your life. Don't believe. Listen, when I was a young wholesaler in my 30s, I thought I knew it all. And boy, I got humbled. I've got lawsuits. Um, I had some bad business deals that just went way sideways. I made a lot of assumptions. And instead of getting help and trying to figure it out, I doubled down, and it didn't work out well for me. And I got taught a lesson. I'm here to tell you is the day I decided to lose my ego, I've never had a problem in wholesaling. And ego tends to show up in younger people, but they do tend to show up in like some older people now too. Um, I mean, I have family members of mine just stuck on ego. Like I listen, if you know it all, you can't learn anything. So once you know it all, you shut yourself off to society, and you're always right and everybody's wrong. And we all know people like that. And if you can't recognize that person in the room, you're probably that person. It's just the truth. The minute I find egocentric people, I avoid them like the absolute plague. If you just bury me excuses and you're always crying and whining, I can't help you. Nobody can help you until you decide to help yourself. Once you help yourself, anything can do it. So, last thing here, guys, 22 years, wholesaling is your social proof it works. I always tell you, stop listening to what people say and see what they do. Real leaders lead. People that want to impress upon you, they just speak, and there's nothing to back it up. So the idea is there's a lot of people in our wholesaling business that really don't wholesale anymore, and I don't get it. Like, I love wholesaling. I think it has changed my life, the trajectory of my family, my son, and anyone I have associated with it. So why would I want the best for everyone? In fact, I'll even go on a limb and tell you the people that bring you in and charge you for wholesaling, listen, they brought you in the game. So let's just get you right. It's okay. Go over to freewholesaling.com. We'll show you how the course works. It's not a problem. The question is, will you work in wholesaling? Because I know wholesaling works. I've shown you the 22 years. If you truly want to escape the matrix, I'm telling you, wholesaling works. The question is, will you? And if you can't do that, I'm just telling you, it doesn't matter whose course you take. It just doesn't matter. So let me answer some questions. I'll hop on the live here. So guys, the main thing, the main point I want to get across to you today is the separation between looking rich and becoming rich. Becoming rich isn't a journey that you have to really humble yourself on, because God knows I started out looking rich when I worked for a corporate job, and then I switched. And then anytime I got in trouble is when I didn't focus on becoming rich. How do you become rich? Focus on your net worth. Do a balance sheet. I don't care if you got crap in your house. You need to know, who do you owe? How many assets do you own? And what's going on in your business. Once you understand that, you'll understand how to grow your net worth. But listen, looking at the type of car you drive, I just know you got a liability. So, um, I drive a nice car, but I'm never going to brag about it. It's not that nice. In fact, I drove around my entire first 14 years of wholesaling. I drove down one Honda Accord. I bought it brand new, and I kept it till the day I died and traded it for $1,000. That is the art of a great wholesaler right there. Why? Because fancy cars, by the way, fancy cars do not help your wholesaling situation. They go, oh my God, they got money. Ooh, he's going to pay me top dollar. No, like beat up trucks, beat up Honda Accords, those things go well. By the way, I had the full duct tape on my car too. I was not ashamed of it. Why? Because I was working on becoming rich. And you don't become rich by buying fancy cars you can't afford in the beginning. How do I know if you can't afford them? You got to finance them. So, okay, let me jump on this. Actually, Nick, I'm working on this right now. Just to let you know, I'm actually finishing up the recording on it. So, um, what's up? I appreciate you. New name change. Just found out on the school course. Awesome. So if you guys go to freewholesaling.com, you'll have that all there. With awesome. Okay, wait a minute. I missed. Let's see. I have one other one on here. I got 400 comments. Okay. So Nick's got this. Warren Buffett still lives in the same home. Now, that man can afford to buy a big fat house, but I'm just saying, to become rich, you're going to have to lay way low for 2 years. And if you do it, you will literally catapult everybody you deal with. But I'm just here to tell you, everybody around you, including your family, I'm not talking about from emotional or like how they support you. At best, they're average. They go to school, they get a basic education, they maybe go to college, and they get it. I make like a lot of people look up to doctors, and I think what doctors do are amazing. But listen, I went to see my doctor the other day, and I'm just like, I ask questions, and it pisses him off because I'm trying to be proactive with my health and not reactive. And like for instance, he's trying to shove the shingle vaccination down my throat. I go, why do I need a shingle? Oh, just in case you get it. I go, well, if you have chicken pox as a kid, I go, from what I understand, as long as I keep my nutrition up, I keep myself physically healthy, and I keep a very reasonable weight limit, I should never get shingles. Like if I maintain, you could. Okay, well, I got to tell you what. Let's go on the flip side. Tell me what's in the shingle vaccine. I have no idea. So you want me to stick a needle in my body for something I don't even know what it is, for basically a disease that only comes out when you break your body down? Yeah, sign me up for that. And I get in trouble for asking these questions. So it just drives me nuts. Um, you guys are all making, so like guys, ramen noodles, you guys sharing houses to afford you got to do what you got to do to get by. And so there's a side of my life a lot of you guys have not seen. I lived way below the radar. Like you have no idea. No vacations. You don't go to the bars. You don't go out to eat. By the way, you go out to eat, other than the social aspect, there's nothing good for you. The food's horrendous for you. Bigger portions than you can ever eat. You're going to have to make sacrifices like that. And after a while, that money compounds and it builds. And then you buy assets that pay you. And then after a while, you don't have to trade your time for money. But we all have to make a sacrifice. Do I wish I did this in my 20s? Absolutely. I was too stupid. I knew it all. My ego was lit up, and I didn't have a good mentor. So if I can help you guys do that, I'm all about it. But I'm just telling you, that is the deal that you have to understand. And if you don't, so I'm going to put the course streaming across the bottom here, in case you guys missed it on that. And then let's jump in. Um, so I did the vegan thing for a year and a half. Um, and it's good, but you got to do it for the right reasons. The problem with being a vegan, it is hard to get some of the nutrition, and you got to spend a lot of money, and you got to plan it, and it takes a lot of energy. And I give a lot of power to it. There's Just find out what your reason for doing it is. If it's health, or is it because you don't want to eat animals, just be brutally honest with why you're doing it. Because some people are like, I get you want to eat an animal. I mean, but like cheese and all this other stuff processed, it'll kill you even faster, in my opinion. Um, so 10x Health. The problem is they're in a massive lawsuit with my favorite guy in the world, which is Gary Brecka. And when you sue Gary, I'm not a big fan of you. And so Grant Cardone, I don't know what the hell's going on, but um, I think Gary's an incredible advisory to be a proactive health. And by the way, me being a proactive health is from me doing wholesaling, period. So, okay, let's jump on.